What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Wrasslin for Life Network, and welcome back to another edition of the TNA Impact Review. This week on TNA Impact, we had a TNA World Championship match between Nick Nemeth and Josh Alexander. Moose took on Mike Santana. We heard from Jordan Grace, and we heard from Steve Macklin. We also have some qualifying matches for the Ultimate X match at Emergence. Like I said, there's a lot to talk about today, so let's get into it. TNA kicks off with a huge triple threat match. It is Chris Bay versus John Skyler versus Riley Osborne from NXT and an Ultimate X qualifying match for the Ultimate X match at Emergence. And this was a great match by all three gentlemen, won by Riley Osborne from NXT. So Riley Osborne is the first WWE contracted superstar to compete in the Ultimate X match going down in 2 weeks at Emergence. This was a phenomenal match, like I just said. Kudos to all three of these men. I was really looking for Chris Bay to win this match, but I'm happy they gave it to an NXT superstar as we continue with this crossover between NXT and TNA, and we shall see how this goes as it continues. But the match for the Ultimate X match for the X Division Championship at Emergence is shaping up to be good. And when we get closer to the end of the episode, I will talk about some of the participants that have already qualified for this match at Emergence. But yeah, if you're not tuning into Emergence, you should be, because there are also some other matches going down that are pretty stacked, and I'm looking forward to it. We get a quick in-ring segment between Matt Cardona and Santino Marella, and basically Santino Marella is trying to hold Matt Cardona accountable for everything he has done since returning to TNA Impact, from crashing the wedding of PCO and Steph D. Lander to somewhat putting his hands on Santino Marella. So this is what he came up with. He wants a match between Cardona and PCO, and if he signs this contract, the match goes down. If he doesn't, then he will be calling the police and Matt Cardona would be going to jail. So we'll see what happens a little later on. Does Matt Cardona sign this contract to potentially face PCO? So we hear from Steve Macklin, and Steve Macklin is ready to go through everyone to get to the TNA World Championship picture again. And the first person he is going after is Eric Young. He has never faced Eric Young one-on-one in the ring. He said he wants to make that happen. He wants to make that happen now, and he will be his first victim heading towards that TNA World Championship. I'm excited to see what they do with Steve Macklin. I do believe Steve Macklin needs another World Championship run in TNA, so hopefully he gets that. But it seems like as we head down this road, Steve Macklin is going to work his way through each TNA superstar to get back to that TNA World Championship. So next up, we have Tasha Steels versus Giselle Shaw, and they've been in a feud since around Slammiversary. It kind of started around Slammiversary, and Tasha Steels has basically beaten Giselle Shaw each and every time, but she has cheated. So this time, Santino Marella said, we are not going to have any discourse in the decision of this match. There's going to be refs outside of the ring to help officiate this match. So we had about 3 refs outside of the ring, and then we had the one standard ref in the ring. But like I said, Tasha Steels and Giselle Shaw cooked in this match. They were given a short amount of time. I want to say about 10 minutes, but they cooked with every minute they were given. Giselle Shaw, one of the best in the Knockouts division. Tasha Steels, the greatest that beat the greatest, and she continues to be on that rise in the Knockouts division, and I believe she deserves to be on that top pedestal, and I think that is coming one day where she holds that TNA Knockouts World Championship. But kudos to Giselle Shaw, kudos to Tasha Steels. They both deserve it in the Knockouts division. If you haven't seen TNA Impact from this week, this is one of the matches you should go back and check out, or go check out for the first time. This was great. Then we head to Mike Santana versus Moose, And it seems like Mike Santana was not going to be able to compete in this match because the system actually attacked him before this match. But Santana is a fighter, and Santana marched out to that ring. And this was a great match. Moose had control of this match the entire time, basically. Mike Santana was really beat and broken down from the beatdown that the system gave him before the match. But like I said, Mike Santana is a fighter, and he wasn't going down without getting some heavy blows on Moose. But this was a phenomenal match. This I knew it was going to be a pay-per-view quality match, but man, did they deliver above a pay-per-view quality match. I don't know. Both of these men went out there and did what they do for TNA and showed total nonstop action throughout the entirety of this match. This match was won by Moose, and really no surprise there that it was won by Moose. And I don't think this feud with Mike Santana and Moose is over, but y'all, another match you should check out from TNA Impact this week. I do want to point out that after this match, Joe Hendry did come out to save Mike Santana. He grabbed the mic and basically said, next week, the Hardys are coming back. Matt and Jeff are coming back, and they'll be taking on Moose and JDC of the system. We hear from Jordan Grace, and Jordan Grace had some strong words for Ash by Elegance. Ash by Elegance has been interfering in every aspect of Jordan Grace's wrestling career over the past about 5 months, and at this point Jordan Grace has had it. She says she is ruining her legacy in TNA. She is ruining her legacy as the TNA Knockouts World Champion, and she says she's not done with her yet. She is ready to face Ash by Elegance again, and that match will eventually happen, which I personally believe that match is being saved for Bound for Glory. But Jordan Grace is upset. Jordan Grace is pissed off with Ash by Elegance. And when we have this second match between these two, I think it'll top the first match that we saw at Slammiversary. So we have our second qualifying match for the Ultimate X match at Emergence. It was Jason Hutch versus Ace Austin versus Rich Swan. And this was a phenomenal match by all three of these men. Every match on this card, on this week's episode of TNA Impact was very, very good. Every match was a banger. I really wholeheartedly believe that every match was a banger, but this was a great match as well. This was won surprisingly by Jason Hutch, and I said surprisingly, but I believe First Class is gunning for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. So basically, AJ Francis got involved and attacked Ace Austin. Chris Bay ran out to help Ace Austin, and basically it just went from there. So we're setting up a feud with First Class versus ABC heading into Emergence, heading into Victory Road, and heading into the biggest show of the year, Bound for Glory. So we're getting that, and we got that feud started in this match. That is why Jason Hotch won, but I think that was a great choice for the winner. Like I said, this Ultimate X match is really heating up with the competitors that have been added and entered already. Matt Cardona has signed the contract given to him by Santino Marella. So it has been really made official. They haven't did the whole graphic yet for Emergence, but Matt Cardona will be taking on PCO at Emergence. I'm not sure if the Digital Media Championship will be on the line that night, but once it's made official, we'll all know what's going down at Emergence. But the biggest thing here is Matt Cardona has signed the contract to face PCO. So this week's TNA Impact was match heavy. That's why we're already at the main event. I'm not keeping you guys long today, so that is why we're already at the main event. The main event, Nick Nemeth versus Josh Alexander for the TNA World Championship match with TV time remaining, and it was only about 30 minutes left for TV time. These men took 30 minutes to put on an absolute banger. This was one of the matches that I was really looking forward to when Nick Nemeth arrived on the scene at Hard to Kill. He's been with TNA, roughly about 8 months now, and this was one of the matches I was really looking forward to. These men delivered. Josh Alexander is doing some of the best work right now as a heel. I didn't think I would like him as a heel, but I really liked him as a heel. And Nick Nemeth is having the time of his life in TNA wrestling, something I kind of wanted to see in WWE, but I don't want to get into the past because right now he is cooking in TNA wrestling. These two put on a banger. There's not much to say here. These two put on a banger, and they put on a banger all the way until the time limit. We did not get a proper victory here because the time limit was up and they wanted 5 more minutes. You know what? I'm gonna rephrase that because they didn't want 5 more minutes. Nick Nemeth wanted 5 more minutes, but it was a great match nonetheless. And after Josh Alexander did attack Nick Nemeth, so this sets up a huge match for Emergence, a 1 hour Iron Man match between Nick Nemeth and Josh Alexander for the TNA World Championship. When I told y'all need to be seated for Emergence, y'all need to be seated for Emergence. We got the Ultimate X match going down. We got this huge TNA World Championship match going down. Emergence is about to be a good show. So before I leave you guys today, I do want to go over some of the matches already announced for Emergence and the competitors so far announced for the Ultimate X match going down at Emergence as well. So here are some of the matches already announced. First, we got Jordan Grace teaming up with Danny Luna and Jody Threat Spitfire to take on Ash by Elegance, Alicia Edwards, and Masha Slamovich Militia. We also have the Ultimate X match where we have Zachary Wentz, Mike Bailey, Jason Hutch, and Riley Osborne from NXT already announced for this match. And I believe we have 2 qualifying matches left to determine the last 2 participants in this match. And lastly, we have Josh Alexander versus Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Championship at Emergence in a 1 hour Iron Man match. This card, 3 matches deep, already looking good. Y'all need to tune into Emergence. It's going to be a great show. But I also want to thank you for tuning in to the TNA Impact review this week. Like I said, this week's episode of TNA was match heavy, and I just kind of wanted to touch on all of the matches that happened this past week on TNA Impact. But join me next week as we go over another edition of TNA Impact. I am your host, Ringsider Anthony, and I hope to see you in the next one.